what we do here is go back.
Hey, let's go back to the main camera. Hello everybody, good evening. It's Mike here, Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To. And hopefully you can see and or hear me. Have I got the microphone on? Yes, I have. Yeah. I can't even see the chat, so you're going to have to let me know if you can see or hear me.
10. You want to get 10, don't you?
Yeah,
Sorry.
Windows 10 Pro.
It's cheap.
We're just finishing off George's computer here, as you can possibly hear and see by all the crap this is all around us at the moment. So this is George's new PC. We're just finishing building it now. Transferring some files over. Hang on.
Sorry.
So make sure we're getting the right Windows key.
Windows 10 Pro and Windows 11 Pro.
Yep, that's the one. Yeah, that'll activate it.
Alright.
Don't waste money, George.
Don't forget to use the discount code Mike's Unboxing on checkout. Now I can't see the chat at all, so I've got no idea what you guys are saying. And yeah, anyway, the PC's done. So we've built George's new PC. This is a Ryzen 5, Ryzen 7. It's a 7800X, yeah, that must be Ryzen 7. 7800X3D. Got 32 gigs of the Lexar Ares RAM, which is actually one of my favourites. I really like that. Good pricing as well at the moment on Amazon. Also got a Gigabyte B650 Aorus Elite AX motherboard. And for those of you that haven't seen it already, this is one of my favourite cases. This is the Thermaltake Ceres 300. Not the 330, that's the slightly newer version with the back to front wiring and also the different colour coded front panel, but anyway, you get the idea. The fans are ramping up a little bit. We still need to do some fine tuning. As you can probably guess, things are a little bit all over the place currently here at the Mike's Unboxing headquarters. This should have been done hours ago and given us time to set up the stream, but unfortunately that wasn't the case. This was the case. So yeah, the build is done. Got the RTX4080 Super in there, which George has treated himself to. That was a Founders Edition, and we'll discuss that more in depth later on, because that has been a massive bone of contention over the last week, which if you're a member of our Discord, you'll probably already know this, and if you follow me on Facebook or one of my Facebook friends, you'll know I've had various posts and kerfuffles with the RTX4080 Super, and it's getting to be a little bit of a pain in the backside if I'm completely honest. So anyway, this is the build, it's all done. Oh, Thermaltake power supply in there. So Thermaltake, the GF3850 watt. Very, very quiet, unlike the fans at the moment. Need to address that. The cooler, CPU cooler, is the Thermaltake TH280 revision 2. Very nice cooler. Perfect for this case because it doesn't fit a 360 in the top, only a 280 or 240. So yeah, it's worked out pretty well. I'm absolutely knackered, I really am. I've been pretty ill last week or so, and I'm just starting to feel a bit better now, so do bear with me if I have a coughing fit or choking fit. Don't worry, I'm not dying. Well, less so than I would be. So yeah, I haven't got a cough button, so you'll just have to put up with it, unfortunately. So hopefully you're all having a great Saturday evening. Mine's somewhat stressful and is absolutely baking in here. Currently it's about 25 degrees Celsius in the room. Humidity is about 50%, so it's hot and it's dry, and I'm stressed. We're very, very stressed. I should also say as well, thank you to Colin Hilton. We did Colin's birthday build this week and he's picked up. He is very happy with it, excellent stuff. And he actually donated a couple of fans from his Series 330, and one of which has been put to good use already in the back of here. So we've got an additional addressable RGB fan in the back of the case just to balance things out a little bit. And I think it actually looks pretty decent. What do you think about it? Let me know in the comments, and at some point I will try and read them. You never know. So George has just put in his license key in, which has just come across from premiumcdkeys.com. I know I am a terrible shill, but they are the cheapest CD keys that you can find.
€3.25.
€3 and 25 of your European cents can get you a Windows 10 professional key, which will activate Windows 11. Converting euros into pounds, I'm not too sure what the difference is at the moment.
It was £2.89 earlier in the week.
It's going to be about 280, 290. So less than £3 for a Windows 10 Pro key. absolutely phenomenal value for money. Poppy's very pleased with it as well. You can tell the camera's rolling, the cats are all up in their stuff.
Poppy, tail.
I haven't got my other monitor connected up at the moment, so I can't see chat or what is going on because this PC is currently connected to that monitor. I really do need to sort this place out and do something with it. Anyway. I know, Poppy. It's terrible, isn't it?
There's no beds, is there?
Go and sleep somewhere else.
We are activated now.
We are officially activated. Awesome. So you all done?
Nearly.
It's nearly done. Nearly done. I can almost have my
Helping
desk
George
back.
Pops.
And I do apologise for those who are joining the stream for it being late. Well, you can see why. Unfortunately, sometimes work, even if it is kind of for your family, you do have to make some sacrifices. So unfortunately, I've sacrificed you lot in order to get his PC done. So hopefully George is very thankful. Are you very thankful, George?
Yes, I am, thank you.
He is very thankful. Very good. And so he should be, because he got the only RTX 4080 Super that was able to be delivered to this address.
Or any other address
Yeah. Unbelievable.
under our names.
We will discuss this in more depth very soon. Cav said there's some super chats come in. I'm not too sure who they've come in from.
Rally 20.
£20 from O'Reilly. Thank you, O'Reilly.
And £2 disco.
And £2 from Disco Bob. Thank you very much. Can I see it on here? I don't think I can.
You should be able to. Morales was yay, a live stream and a thank you for helping me with my iTunes issue on that laptop.
Was that from O'Reilly?
Yeah.
Did I help him with his iTunes issue on a laptop? I don't even remember doing that. I must have been really ill this week. I was actually hallucinating a bit, I think. So I could have swore I saw 4080s Supers in stock.
George,
I'm not bitter.
you're on my way.
A little bit. I'll be honest with you. What have we got to do?
The lights.
Oh, sorry. Disco time.
Excuse me, George.
Sorry. We'll wait. There we go. We've got some RGB lighting going on. There's another super chat. Who's that from?
Ugly Bob.
From Ugly Bob. And that's the
You can read it on
£2
that
disco.
one, can't you?
Oh yeah, true. If I look behind, I could see it. There we go. £20 from Ugly Bob. Thank you. It says, spoiler alert, if you just started reading the Bible, don't go to church at Easter because they give away the ending. Very true. Very true. Thank you very much for the super chat, Ugly Bob. Much appreciated.
Cats and kids.
A letter says, for a better deal, Linux is free. But is that a better deal? Sometimes it's actually worth paying a little bit of money for something. Richard says, I joined about 5 minutes ago thinking I've missed the first 45 minutes. You didn't, you're all good. Where else we go? Ugly Bob says, you demand, George?
I'm the man, yes.
He is in agreement. He is very much the man. I'll have to wait until we see what's going on in the chat in a minute. So hopefully it won't be too long. But what do you think of the PC? I think it looks really nice. I do like these Thermaltake cases. Thermaltake seem to be doing a lot of good things at the moment, I think, with cases and coolers. Not bad at all. Although, having said that, they have sent me another cooler for review, which I actually didn't ask for, it just turned up. As things do, if you're someone who does stuff on YouTube. Although I can't find it. Oh, there we go. Next to the air duster. So this is the cooler. Thermaltake Tough Air 710 Black Edition. There have been some reviews of this already, some of which have not been entirely favourable. So, yeah, I'm intrigued to see how this performs and how well it does. It's a slightly unusual cooler, and they've made some unusual design decisions, but they've sent it for review, so I will review it, see what it's like, see how it performs, see what noise levels are like. If anything, I think noise levels are going to be fantastic on this. But I think the fitting is potentially the slight downfall in terms of how physically big it is, and also the fitting mechanism. Apparently, especially if you're on Intel. If you're on AMD, I think it's absolutely fine, but if you're on Intel, potentially you could be walking into some problems. So that's going to be coming up in the week, hopefully, if I manage to continue? Well, I'm sure I will. There's a blanking plate there. What is that from? That's not from there.
No.
It's not from there. Ah, that is from over there. I've finally got around to putting my capture cards in my PCs. So now we are set up, ready to do some benchmarking of graphics cards. If only I could get my hands on an RTX4080 Super. It's never going to get old, is it, that one?
Is it him, or are you getting smaller?
I might be getting
Or the
smaller.
cooler's getting bigger?
I'm getting smaller, and the coolers are getting bigger. Right, how are we looking, George? Almost done? You ready to shut down?
Yeah.
Go for it. Shut it down. Let's get this thing out of the way. Wait for the silence.
Got a new desk again.
Dunk. There we go. Right. Very handy device, this. This is from Oracle. I've got a feeling Bob might have sent this actually at some point. Or well, maybe we all bought one, I don't know. Oracle Disk Caddy. Just basically USB-C, plug it in, boosh, bada bing, transfer your files, happy days, good stuff. Thought there's something else on there, but there's not. Right, you're going to take that up,
Yeah.
transfer some files, there you go.
It's Mark Berry's birthday tomorrow.
Happy birthday, Mark Berry, for tomorrow. And would it be too out of order to actually ask how old you're going to be, Mark Berry?
56.
56 years young. God, these mics unboxing viewers are getting younger. Now, I got to carry this up the stairs. So,
Get ready for some heavy breathing.
yeah, there'll be some heavy breathing and potentially the mic might cut out. So we'll see. Where shall I leave this, George? Is it outside your room?
Yeah.
It's quite heavy.
Alright.
Actually, so put it on your chair. Go too far. You right to carry?
Yeah.
Sure?
Yeah.
If you need anything, call Mum.
Alright. Thanks.
Because I don't think Mum's going to take over the stream for me. But she might do a bit of hard labour. There we go. Oh my goodness. Right.
Move that box and they might sit on your
Move what box?
that box. I might be able to offload some onto there.
It is so hot in here. I'm getting too old for this shit.
Wait a second, mate.
Right, I need an HDMI cable. Which I bought some new ones today. Where do they go? There we go. HDMI cable. Right, talk amongst can't even talk. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to try and get the rest of this set up now.
Wait for the flame to bloom.
Let's feed that one down there. Now the reason I've bought these HDMI cables is A, they're slimline ones, so they're nice and easy to cable manage.
No, not on there.
And also I've been meaning to, I've been meaning to actually kind of semi-hardwire this stuff in
Oh, sorry, mate.
to make life a little bit easier. Right, that can unplug. Wow, there's so many cables here. Let's plug that monitor in. Oh, bollocks. Excuse my French. I need my Wi-Fi dongle for the keyboard and mouse.
And it's in George's computer.
Yeah. Sorry about this. Keep actually, this for some of you might actually be interesting content to see what actually goes into setting up one of these live streams. You'd think not a lot, but actually there's more to it than meets the eye, which I know you wouldn't expect. It's getting hot. Let's get the old air duster out. Never look into the air duster. That's better. Thank you, Colin Hilton, for the air duster. Much appreciated. It's very cool. I like it a lot. Ah, that's what I was going to do. I was going to get... Oh, I can't, can I? That's what I was waiting for. It's chaos, absolute chaos, I tell you. Right, so let's move that over here, over there, over by there. Right, let's move that to there. Let's do the pop-out chat. And then we can put that to the right. That's not worked at all. That's better. Right, I can see some of the chat now. Ugly Bob says, that'll ruin your hair. You never know, it might do. Right, this is working. Top chat, now I want live chat, don't I? There we go, so make sure that's working. Oh, where's the bloody thing gone? Let's chuck that over there. Yay.
Amzad says, I want to pair
That's working.
7950X with asus Tough Gaming B650 plus Wi-Fi.
It sounds like a plan.
Is this motherboard good enough for that CPU?
Yeah, that's the motherboard. Actually, which board did you say it was?
B650 plus Wi-Fi Tough Gaming.
Tough Gaming, yeah, that's the one I've got in the PC behind me. It's a really nice board. The only thing I don't like about it is Armory Crate, which still sucks. All these years later, who'd have thought it? Still sucks. Rick H says, t-shirt time, Mike. It is t-shirt time. This is actually a t-shirt. This is a long sleeve t-shirt. I've ordered a couple of t-shirts and a new Mike's Unboxing jacket and a like a hooded fleece microfiber type top. Just to, it's coming to the end of the tax year, so rather than give it to the tax man, it's always a good idea to buy yourself some stuff, especially merch. If you're going to use it, hell, I'm working pretty much from the moment I get up in the morning to the time I go to bed. I'm always wearing Mike's Unboxing stuff. Yeah, anyway. Error, YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. What's going on? Poor. Okay. Is anyone experiencing buffering, or is it okay? YouTube's not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Okay. Seems to be working. Where are we? Ugly Bob has now been a member for 30 months. Wow, 30 whole months.
Why is it candy?
That is kind of impressive. Whew. Rick H says, yeah, I thought the stream's cancelled. It was going to be cancelled, to be fair. I should have not bothered, but I do feel guilty because we haven't been on for 2 weeks. Well, this would have been the second week we haven't been on for, and I miss you guys. Kath misses you as well. She probably misses you more than she misses me. Let's be fair. So anyway, it's nice to be back on. Nice to be back online and getting things done. George's PC upgrade, that has been in the works now. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'm sure it's like 5 years at least. The most of it would have been probably the last 2 years, I think, where it's been kind of like, what do you do? What do you buy? I think there's a lot of people in that situation, to be honest with you. JB Mods in the house. Good evening, Mike and Gaff. How you doing? Rick says I'm around the 30-month mark as well. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of you who have been members of the Mike's Unboxing community for about 30 months or thereabouts. Where's my seat adjuster gone now? There we are.
Hey Dave.
There we go. Matthew Day says, in the works as long as my upgrade. Maybe not quite as much as that. The Parody Gamer says, smack the likes up, people. Thank you very much. I've got nothing planned for this stream, so if you want to ask any questions, you're more than welcome to. I was going to go on somewhat of a tirade about NVIDIA and scan.co.uk for their kind of business practices, but I'm still really not sure if I could just let loose and really rip into them, but I don't know the full story, and it would be unfair to go too harsh without giving them the right to reply, which, as a journalist or someone who's doing that kind of thing, you should give the person the right to reply. Which, whether or not I would be able to or not, I don't know. And I don't really want to go down this route because there are becoming fewer and fewer online retailers, especially here in the UK. And it seems really, I don't know, it just seems like bad karma to just go after a company and slate them for what potentially might not even be their fault. So yeah, I'm really not too sure how I feel about that at all, so I don't really want to go too mad. A letter says buffering. I don't know what's going on. Have I dislodged the cable? I might have dislodged the cable, or it might be because George is downloading the absolute earth. Buffering here too. You're all buffering. It does say YouTube is not receiving enough video, but I don't know why that would be. Let me cancel the stream a minute, or stop the stream, and I'll start it back up. Let's see how that works. That might be better. We will see. Hugh Luttrell says, hi all, lost the stream 3 times. Hopefully it's alright now. It says on the screen, excellent connection. Well, it just buffered again then. It says the stream is excellent. Got it working now. I don't know. I hate the internet. I really do. It's a joy and a beast at the same time. But very strong with this one. Working here now, that's Jan. Good. Dukeman says works now. Mark Barry, my son wants a new keyboard, so will I get his Razer Black Widow V3 to replace my very basic Logitech keyboard? Good stuff. Actually, might be worth saying to George about not downloading stuff if he's doing that now. He might be doing that. We'll see. Anyway. Old Man Withers says, I've not had problems with scan. Perhaps I've just been lucky. Could be worse. Could be on dial-up. Oh God, yeah. I remember those days. I actually missed the dial-up days. Those were fun. We were all somewhat pioneers of the internet back in the dial-up days, where you had to configure your modem, make sure that you got a dial-in signal and tone, and you could maybe overclock your modem a little bit to get a bit better baud rate. Yeah, those were the days. And then you had the old kind of Flex or V90 or K52 or K56 Flex. There's all kinds of things. It was good fun. I miss it. I really do miss the old dial-up thing. Ugly Bob says, I get very nostalgic when I hear the old dial-up tone. Yeah, I do. I do. I was watching some older program and they were talking about dial-up modems, and there was a guy and they were saying, yeah, this is how you connect up and how you transfer files. You dial the thing up, but yet you can still use the phone. And I'm like, even Kath said, like, no, you couldn't use the phone. If you were connected on dial-up, how would you be able to dial the phone? Stupid man.
We couldn't ring the midwife, could we? Because you were playing a game.
The dial-up sound is legendary, says J Rich. Yeah. I missed the modem connecting. Do you know what? I'm very tempted for the start of the stream, rather than having the what's it called? The time tunnel and the music. I'm very tempted to make the stream start just a picture of an old modem and it dialing and doing the handshake. I think that might be quite a nice touch. Because I'm old and modems are old. That'd be good. William Bodie says, yes, just do it, Mike. Old Man Withers says, I miss the sound of a ZX Spectrum loading a game from tape. I do as well. Although, I only missed it in fondness, the memories. But I think most of us, if you're old enough and you've ever owned a computer where you had to load up software from a cassette tape using the audio, the sound of listening to that for, I don't know, 5 minutes or so to get your game to load, and then for it to say error at line 10, that was just so a soul-destroying experience. I think we're very, very spoilt now. Alessa says, do you want some bass music with it, Mike? Bass music with the dial-up tone, that would be pretty cool. A slightly more modern rock twang. Good stuff. Old for Dingo sorry, Alpha Indigo says nostalgia is great. He's not a dingo, mate.
Dingo dollars.
Dingo dollars. Nostalgia is great. Nostalgia is great and should be left in the past with cassette tapes. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Dial telephones.
Yeah, David Thompson says typing basic listings from a magazine and having to wait a month for the corrections. Oh my goodness gracious! I don't think we ever had corrections in the UK. It's just like that's it. It is what it is. If it doesn't work, that's it. Parody Gamer says, do you know if Bitcoin is making a comeback? As I saw a video saying that Ryzen CPUs would be the target. If it is true, I'm glad I made a new build with my AMD 7950X along with MSI 7900 XTX. Yeah, well, Bitcoin has had a somewhat of a resurgence recently. Well, I think it's sort of capped off now, or falling off a little bit. And because whenever Bitcoin has a little bit of a run, all the other crypto coins have a little bit of a run as well, because they get caught up with that speculative kind of buying. So everyone's like, oh, Bitcoin, it's going through the roof. So everyone thinks, oh, wait, what's going to be the next big thing? So then they buy into all the other coins. Now, one of those particular coins uses AMD processors as like a proof of work concept thing, and the 7950 does appear to be the one which does very well and will net you somewhere in the region of about £3 a day. So within, I don't know, half a year or so, kind of you're looking at paying for itself, maybe slightly more than that. I'm not too sure of the prices, but somewhere around like 2/3 of the year it's paid for itself, then you're kind of into profit, and that's including electricity costs and that. So potentially there's some money to be made there. But like with anything, when you're riding any of those kind of speculative commodities or speculative investments, that's kind of all it is. It's speculative. So kind of, if you put your money into it, put in only what you can afford to lose. If you start making some money on top of what your investment is, pull your investment out and leave the rest in there and just let it ride and see what happens. That's generally always, I think, the most sensible advice. If you go to a gambling table, go to a casino, if you take 50 quid with you, you do some gambling, you win back maybe 75 quid, take the 50, put it in your back pocket, forget about it, that's your stake back. Play with your 25 quid, when it runs out, call it a day. I think that's kind of sensible advice. David Hunter says, Bitcoin is a fancy Ponzi scheme. Well, I think that's the trouble with all these types of things. Like, money is somewhat of a kind of
Fallacy.
It's an imaginary concept. It has a value, but only because the banks and other things say they have. What are you?
I went on autopilot.
Kath's autopiloting and letting one of the kittens out late at night.
And then realised.
Then realise when the bloody thing's halfway out the door.
Sorry, Kathy,
Unbelievable.
it's too late to go out.
Hippie Shake 66 says, I just bought myself a AMD 5800X3D CPU today. Haven't updated my system for about 6 years. Looking forward to seeing it in action. I think with the 7800X3D, you are going to be looking at some pretty decent cooling. Even with the 280mm AIO in that system, it still does generate an awful lot of heat. It seems to top out around about 80 degrees, but still 80 degrees is 80 degrees. Hey Joe Barnes, how you doing? David says, I never get to see my money, it leaves the bank account too quickly. For those of you in the UK today, you'll notice that, or you've probably heard that Sainsbury's, I think it was McDonald's as well, and Tesco have all had like major problems with digital payments and digital ordering, online ordering, that sort of stuff. I think chip and pin was still okay in some places, and they were still accepting cash, but all the cash machines locally were basically out of money. So yeah, it was good times today in the UK. And I think today, is it St Patrick's Day today or tomorrow? I think it's tomorrow, isn't it, St Patrick's Day? So obviously Saturday night leading into St Patrick's Day is going to be horrendous, absolutely horrendous. Dom has gifted 5 Mike's Unboxing reviews and how-to memberships. One's been gifted to Jay Gordon. Matthew Day's got one at long last. Hayden Trent has been gifted one as well. Tech Soul.
I'm coming.
That Ninja Duck. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And Kieran Atkinson Woods in the house. How you doing, Kieran? Ugly Bob says St. Patrick's tomorrow. Good, good. Dom says, if there's no topics today, then I'll share some love for viewers. Bless your heart. Free members, you lovely people. Ladios says tomorrow is the Man United FA Cup day. Are Man United still in cups and things? I haven't followed football or sports in general for a long time. I hear odd snippets on the radio. Well, not the radio because I don't have a license, but on the Google Home thing, when I say do the good morning routine that reads the news to me. That's about all I know. Right, I'm going to get a drink a moment, and then maybe we discuss the RTX4080 Super. Professional breather. That's a very good job to have. I hope it continues very, very long. You have a long, illustrious career in your breathing. I think that's...
Breathing is more important than you think. Like literally.
Well,
breathing
yeah.
through your nose and belly breathing.
Professional breather. Hi Mike, do you think 1080p is outdated to play games at today? No. I think 720p is. I think 720p is kind of pretty much dead and buried, although it does seem that in our seeming kind of gold rush to have a handheld gaming console, a lot of these new gaming consoles, such as the Steam Deck, the ROG Ally, the Legion Go, I think, is it Legion Go? Whatever it is. And the MSI Claw, they all seem to be just suited for 720p. So, yeah. I think that, I think 1080p is still a good resolution for gaming. And I'm one of those people where I do enjoy playing a good looking game. But if it comes at the sacrifice of fluidity and the actual game size itself, then I don't know. I think I'm a little bit old fashioned in that regard, where I prefer a game to just be an enjoyable game. I think I would favour the enjoyment of a game far more over eye candy or resolution, that sort of stuff.
Hello, Tis.
Sorry about the coughing.
Cough.
Coughing. What did I say?
I'm saying it as a rude word.
Oh.
Cough.
I would. Professional Breather says, I absolutely agree. I just see people saying that 1440p is minimum nowadays. No. 1440p, I still believe, is a premium resolution for gaming. And if we look at how crap graphics cards have got over the years, and they have, let's face it, we've been at 1080p for, what, 10 years? Probably about 10 years, I think. Might even be more than that. But 1080p has been the kind of like the resolution that most people are aiming for.
She wants to go out.
And yeah, it's game engines have got more and more complex, textures have got more and more detailed, but the resolution hasn't really scaled at the same time. And I often find that, especially if you've got the ability to do so, you're better off actually, rather than running 1080p Ultra, you're actually better off running 4K low or 4K medium, and you actually still get much more detail and much more clarity and crispness. And I've quite often think this to myself, that like 4K low or 4K medium is pretty much the sweet spot. 1080p Ultra is kind of pointless because it's quite a condensed thing anyway, so you're just adding more textures into an already small field of pixels. Anyway, I don't know. I think 1440p is what, ideally, if you're aiming for some kind of premium gaming experience, 1440p I think is a good way of doing it. I think 4K is still way too high a tier for what it costs and for what you get back. 1080p I think is absolutely fine, and long may it continue. And I think it will be the sweet spot for probably another 5-10 years. I really do. especially when there's still companies making 1080p, kind of 240 hertz and above monitors. Frame rate, I think, is the key thing, more so than resolution. Rick H says, times is hard on my end. Oh, sorry to hear that, Rick. Matthew Day says, I'm 25-inch, 1080p, works fine without needing large fonts. Yeah, I think that is also a definite consideration. If I'm using a 4K monitor, I will quite often set the resolution to be 200%. Or, sorry, the scaling to be 200%, just so I can actually read it. It still is extremely sharp, but it kind of makes it look like 1080p on a 4K screen, if that makes sense. Dutch Jan says most at 1080p have 60 Hz monitors. That's true. Is that buffering again? You don't see it, the circle on there.
We smash open one of those juices.
Yeah, let's have a drink. I need a drink. My throat is very dry. So I'm going to get a drink a moment. Ooh. Matthew Day says some things get confused with font scaling. Oh yeah, they do. Zero Defects says new switches, slideshow, buffering. I've got a sneaking suspicion it could be because George we've just installed new Windows on his PC, so he's probably downloading his games. I'll have to get him to knock it on the head. Or it's just where I've been messing around with the wiring. My wires aren't fully connected. I thought we'd got over this. Let's see. Push that in, push that in, push that one in, and that one in. We're all good. Yeah, streaming is becoming somewhat of a pain in the backside. Charles Ballard says, and I buffered as you were getting up to get your drink. Bloody hell. What does that say on there? Mike's unboxing. Where did this come from? I can't remember. Ah, our daughter did it. So this is I don't know, some kind of jug.
It's a gin glass.
Oh, a gin glass, apparently. I don't drink gin either. Vodka and orange juice. No, this is this pineapple or is this the tropical?
This is tropical.
Tropical. So, cheers everybody. Oh, that hurt. You know when you get a cold and you get cracked lips? Cracked lips. I've been having that. I've still got a few cracks on my lip, and the acidity in that just is like putting vinegar on something. Oh.
Looks like a urine infection.
If you like pinas colada, can you quality of service yours on the router? Ah, that is a good point actually. I might be able to. I might have that app on my phone. Let me have a look. What's he doing now? George, new snap. Good night, streaks. Start on new PC. Nearly done. It works. Up and running again. Well chuffed. Oh, bless him. Oh, bless his heart. That's what I was doing. Router. Let's see if I got a quality as service thing. William Bodie says, question, did the 2 weeks waiting feel like only 1 week to you too? Oh, what, waiting for the stream? Is that what you're on about? Meaning? Thing? Right. Port forwarding, DMZ, no, advanced settings. I don't think I have got quality of service on this router, you know. No, I haven't. Oh well, we'll have to just roll with it. Ugly Bob says the vitamins will do you good. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. I actually do feel a bit better already, just drinking some of this. Oh. Okay. That is hurting. That's literally like getting a needle and just stabbing it in your lip. I need a straw. Oh. Is that the whole jug thing? Bottle?
Not quite.
Okay. Beanies says, I just did my cable management with those little clips you had a few weeks back, Mike. Got a pack of 30 for £3 on Temu. That's good. I think I paid considerably more than that. He's done it already. Right. This week Colin picked up his PC and he seems he was very happy with it. He asked me if I wanted any money for doing it. I said no, I didn't. But he's done it anyway. So Colin sent £50 as a super chat, well, as a PayPal donation. It says, donation with gratitude to Mike for my great PC upgrade. Thank you very much, Colin. I told you not to. But I'm never going to turn money down, so we've got to keep the lights on somehow, especially the RGB ones. So thank you very much. That is very much appreciated. And if you ever need anything else done again, please just ask.
And thanks for the cakes.
Oh, and thanks for the cakes. Well, Colin made us some cakes when he came down as well, which is awesome. Kev2427 says, evening folks, hope everyone's well. I'm getting all bunged up again now. I might have to mute the mic a minute and have a good blow of my snout. William Bodie says, yes, waiting for the stream. It doesn't seem like it's 2 weeks. Last Saturday, I wasn't too bad. I think I was... You know what it's like when you get a cold? You get like ups and downs all the time. And it seems like I have a good day and a bad day, and they seem to go like tick-tock. And Saturday was okay-ish, so we went out and had some food. Yeah, it was quite a nice time. It wasn't perfect because I just didn't feel quite right. Couldn't really taste the food, which is always a shame if you're going out for a meal. But yeah, that was... that doesn't seem like it was only a week ago. It seems like it was a lot longer. But then time is flying. It doesn't seem like it's that long since we did our last stream. Time is a weird thing, isn't
I
it?
blame Søren.
Yeah. JB Mod says, Mike is a smashing guy and I'm sure he's worth every penny. I'm trying to be a better person. And it's... As a younger person, I was horrible. I was a horrible person. I know I was. And I think as you get older, you kind of reflect a little bit on who you are, where you're going, what you've been. And I think it's a good thing to have that reflection and kind of realise that there's no reason to be that person. You can be a better version of yourself, or at least you can try to. As long as you make the effort to try and be a better version of yourself, I think that's half the battle. If you pull it off, great. If you don't, at least you've tried. I think that's the most important thing to do. William Bennett says, did anyone hear from Stuart? I've heard a couple of things from Stuart. I still see his posts and reply to him on Facebook. He is okay. Basically he likes drinking on a Saturday night, and there's been numerous occasions where he's been on our Discord and he's posted things which are basically not acceptable. Now, I gave Stuart an absolute ton of rope, and he'd been banned previously before and kind of snuck back in as another user with a different name, and we kind of let it slip because he's like what I've been trying to do for a long time. Is he's trying to be a better person, but unfortunately he still has I wouldn't say demons, but when he drinks, and the filters come off. And he posted a lot of things on our Discord which are just not acceptable. And if you were having a conversation with someone in the pub, you might get away with it. But in the arena of the online kind of environment, where there are people from like 13 years and older on our Discord, and all kinds of ethnic and socio-economic groupings, there's a wide, diverse mix of people. And some of the things that was posted are things which, yes, you can possibly discuss amongst friends, but are not suitable for online forums. So it happened a couple of times, and there were sort of warnings and apologies, and I'm sorry, I won't drink so much, or I'll stay away from the keyboard. But it just went too far. So unfortunately, Stuart had to get the ban hammer from our Discord, and at the same time then he's basically kind of pulled out of going onto live streams and stuff. So
I've told him he's welcome on the stream.
yeah, I've messaged him and said, look, he actually messaged his first one and said, like, he apologised and blah blah blah. So look, I'm sorry, but you put me in a position where I've got no choice. I can't let you get away with this sort of stuff. You're a good friend, you support the channel, but I can't let that override the kind of the rules of what Discord is. It's not necessarily my rules, it's the online harms bill and all that kind of stuff. You have to be very careful what you post online. And as an owner of a Discord channel, I have to make a response to that type of posting so that I'm seen to be doing the right thing, which I have an obligation to do. So yeah, that's basically where it is. So if you don't see Stuart around, he's still very welcome in the YouTube videos, comments, etc. But the Discord ban still stands, unfortunately, because that stuff can't be tolerated. Not by us as a community, or by Discord as a company as well. We've got to look after ourselves, so that is kind of where it is. And then the stuff he was posting, when I say is like, it's not naughty stuff as in like pornography or anything like that, because that's a different thing altogether. But it was just kind of
stuff that we're not allowed to talk about.
yeah, things that you're not allowed to talk about on YouTube, and if you post them in certain places, you're not allowed to. There are certain narratives in the world which are kind of the way the modern world wants the story to go, and that view is generally kind of the mainstream view. And he had views which are other than that, which a lot of people share. But again, it's there's ways that you go about it, and when you've had an absolute skinful, it's probably not the best time to do it. Ugly Bob says it was more his views and how he was expressing those views. Yeah, it was definitely not politically correct. Certainly there were some things which he was posting which are definitely discussion points, and in the privacy of your own home or a private chat online or something, absolutely fine. But there are some topics that you cannot broach in a public forum. It just simply isn't. Yeah, and yeah, I'll leave it at that. Viali 100 says Sahara Gaming Mirror Fans Black available mid-June, early July. Very interesting. I didn't realise they were going to be that soon. Some people have been asking about the Sahara, the M808W, the case we reviewed. I think it was... Has that gone out this week? Or is that due out? I think it's out to patrons and members, possibly. But yeah, the new case from Sahara Gaming, the M808W. Really enjoyed building in it, and it's actually a very good case for flipping PCs, as I found out this week, because the video hasn't even gone live yet, and I've already sold the PC. So it's one of those cases where it looks really cool. It's a decent price, nice fans and all that, and it absolutely done an absolute number on Facebook Marketplace. I listed the PC. I've been having problems with selling PCs these days because the PCs are hard to sell and you don't make profit on them at all. At least I don't. And yeah, I posted this one, and literally I think it was the second day. I think it was the second day it was gone, collected, cash,
Lovely.
boom, out the door. And the bloke was absolutely over the moon. So that was fantastic.
The bloke.
The bloke, that geezer. So Viali emailed them. Awesome.
Come on, Pops, quick.
Dave Venner says Sahara Gaming not available in Australia. Yes, Sahara Gaming is, I think I've mentioned it on a few videos previously, so it would have been a long time ago because we haven't done anything from them for a long time. So Sahara Gaming, there is the global brand of Sahara Gaming in Taiwan, and I think the US arm of that is a subsidiary, but they are partner companies. But in all other regions, it is like McDonald's, it's a franchise. So you basically buy to use their branding and sell their products, and you ship them in and sell them, kind of do it. So technically, if you sell GameMax stuff in the UK, you are whatever the distributor is or whoever's supplying them. It's their gig. So yeah, very much. Sorry, I'm getting Sahara Gaming and GameMax confused now, but they both work in the same way effectively. The GameMax Taiwan and America are subsidiaries of each other, and GameMax UK is like a franchised company, and Sahara Gaming is a very similar thing. So yeah, that is where we're at with that. Colin Hilton's in the house. Good evening, friends. Sorry I'm late. Been dining out. Someone's been sending PayPal things on without you knowing about it, I think, Colin. All the cats want to go out. Driving me mad. It is like a zoo. And someone's sending me messages on Discord.
That's me.
Oh, is it? You sure?
Well, not 1,000%. I am getting them. I can't move my mouse because I have no desk.
Let me just check that, just to make sure. Not something urgent.
PC's ready. All done on the landing. From George.
Alright, okay. That's what it is, right. So, yeah, George's old PC is now on the landing, possibly in pieces. And now this is going to be the next project PC. So his PC is, I'm guessing, like a lot of teenagers type PCs, where they don't really do a lot with it other than use it. When it comes to cleaning and looking after it, that is a secondary thing. So if you guys are interested, I'll go and get it and we'll take it apart and have a look inside, and you can check out how horrific it is. Now, there is a problem with the motherboard, which I do need to work out what the problem is. It's an old B350 chipset from MSI, and it used to have this really bizarre problem where it would take literally like 5-10 minutes to boot up. Even with an SSD on there, it will just take forever to find a drive and then eventually kind of boot up. So I'm thinking maybe if we take it as a bit of a project, take it all apart, give it a good clean up, update all the BIOSes, see if we can figure out what the problems are with it, rebuild it all, repaste it, get it all nice and tidy, and then maybe sell it, and George can then put that towards the money that he's invested in his new system.
Or use us.
Or use us, yeah. O'Reilly says, take it off, take the side panel off. Oh dear. Rick H says, ooh, looking forward to that, yes please. Hayden Trent, will it be as bad as the video of you cleaning Calf's PC? Yes, it will be considerably worse than that. The thing is that George is very much someone who vapes. So the PC is basically greasy, dusty, dirty. It's just hanging. It's not great. It really isn't great. And actually, it does work out well because Colin sent us the. If you've never tried one of these are really good. So this is a air duster. I'm not sure if Kath's got a link for it that she might be able to fire into the chat, but she's got her hands full at the moment, so if Bob or anyone else can find it. So this is the Rizby air duster, cordless and powerful and portable, USB Type C charging, 3 fan speeds.
What brand is it?
on-off button, and also you've got a directable nozzle as well, so you can do with all that, and I think that comes off as well. Yeah, so you can take that bit off.
What brand is it?
Whizzybee.
Who?
REESIBI. And also it comes with a dusting attachment. I thought that was it then, but no, that is my... See why I was confused? It looks very similar. So this has got some bristles on the end for getting into cleaning. Actually, there's one bristle there which is longer than the others. Guys, you know what it's like when you have a shave and you've done your complete shave, your nice and clean shave, and you look in the mirror or you rub your face and you're like, oh, there's one bloody long straggler. How did that survive? There it is in real life on the end of this. So I'm going to snip that off because that's going to annoy me. Zero Defects says another classic unpronounceable name. We get a lot of that here at Mike's Unboxing. There we go. Perfect. So this is great because you can just attach that. Well, you can either take this one off and put that on there if you want to do it that way. But I actually found it just as easy and a little bit better to do it that way because you get a bit of a longer nozzle then. So you can extend that out, or you can just put it straight on the end there and you can flex that around. So if you want got like a hard to get to place, then yeah, you can do that. But yeah, it's very good. Little rubber grips on the side as well, so for when you're trying to do things so it doesn't slide out of your hand. I don't think I can actually get to the battery pack in the bottom. I think that's all sealed up, but yeah. USB Type-C charging, and I think is there 4 lights? Yeah, there's 4 lights on that side. So when you're actually using it, it gives you a visual display of how much battery is actually left. That's very cool. And for the charging, there's an LED that tells you when it's charged. So red when it's charging, green when it's fully charged. And it's not the quietest, but it does move actually quite a considerable amount of air, which I would love to show you, but you'll have to watch the video of me cleaning out my Works PC. So for those of you that are long-time members or watching the channel, you know that I work in a car shop on a Sunday, local shop to us, and their PC I built about 4 or 5 years ago. I'm pretty sure it was about a year or so before COVID, so we're probably looking 2018. So yeah, it's May 2018, so it's a good 6 years old, nearly. So it's done pretty well. Actually, is that right? That'll be its 6th year, won't it, this year?
What, that you started working there?
No, for that PC. Because it wasn't long after I started working there, was it?
You did it in COVID.
Did I?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah, it was a COVID grant.
No, that was Chris's.
Yeah, you did Chris's and then you did theirs. Oh no, maybe you did do theirs beforehand.
Yeah, Chris's was second. I did it before Chris's, definitely. Anyway,
Yeah.
it's 5, 6 years old. So this is an old Ryzen 3 2200G system. And yeah, it's in a car shop. So there's carpet tiles, there's grease, there's spray paints, aerosols, all that kind of stuff. So the PC gets pretty abused, to be fair. And I don't go there on a Sunday. I'm not paid to be an IT technician. I'm paid to be a sales assistant. And that's what I do. So I don't do anything with the PC. Unless it's actually on its ass crashing, in which case I'll have a look at it, but otherwise I just do my job. So I got the call on, I think it was Tuesday morning. I think it was Tuesday morning, and I'm still hanging. Tuesday or Wednesday, wasn't it?
I think it's Wednesday because I went to my mum's.
Ah, yes, Wednesday it was. So I was still a bit hanging. So I got the PC. Basically, it was crashing. It was hanging. There was a problem with the drivers, but also it was completely chock-a-block with dust. So this was absolutely brilliant. So I took the PC out into the garden, blasted off all the dust, give it a good clean. I actually got some soap and water on the filters as well after, give it a proper clean, and resurrected the PC, and it's working like an absolute dream now. So there is a video on that with cleaning and also with this in use as well. So yeah, you can see what it's all about. And I actually quite like doing these clean-up videos, clean up PCs. It's actually quite therapeutic.
Not that that's doing it. That's
No, I didn't really want to do it because I was still ill, and it got to the point where I'd finished the PC and the boss wasn't in that day, So he was at home, and I was like, I feel like crap. I've got this PC here. I don't want it really left in the house because it's another PC here. So I carried it to work, like you do when you're unwell, making unwise decisions. So I'm literally walking from my house to my work, which is about a 5-minute walk, with this PC under my arm. And by the time I got there, I think I was hallucinating. I'm not sure. I think I might have been, but it wasn't great. I was not good. So I messaged Ian and said, "Oh, I've just dropped the PC off." And he's like, "Really? Like, I hope you didn't walk down there with it." It's like, "Yeah, I did. Kath's got a car. She's around her mum's." He's like, "Wow, thanks." So anyway, that was a good deed for the day. And he said, "How much do I owe you?" And I said, "Don't worry about it. It's fine." Because
you could have used George's car at that time, though.
I was waiting for George to get back actually before I went. So yeah, I did the repairs free of charge, essentially, because I thought, well, I've made a video on it. It was just dirty, a couple of drivers. It only took me about 2 or 3 hours to do.
Patreons have got that video now.
So it was good. Yeah, Patreon should have that video. And yeah, it was one of those things. I was ill. I couldn't really do a lot anyway, so I made the best of it with the video. Actually, it probably made me worse because of all the dust and debris. So it wasn't probably the smartest of ideas to get all that dirt and stuff in my sinuses, but it worked out all right. It's done. And actually, I said I'd do it for nothing because it didn't really cost me anything in parts, just a bit of time and labour. And he said, "Oh, I'll give you, I'll add on a few hours on your wages." I was like, "Okay, thank you very much." But I said, "You don't have to."
Buying you a meal or something so you don't have to put it through the tax man.
God, that stings so much.
Oh, what's happening to your graphics?
O'Reilly says, "I think your one at 30-ish is probably more powerful. Shame there is no vacuum mode." Yeah, that is a bit of a thing, I think, with a lot of these dusters, that they are literally dusters rather than being vacuums. Luckily, I've always got the vacuum nearby anyway.
A vacuum with a little nozzle like that, which is
A little
sucking as
yeah,
it's blowing.
a little battery-powered vacuum, a decent powered one like this would be a brilliant idea. I'm surprised no one's done it.
If it sucks as good as it blows.
It's worth its weight in gold. Yeah, because the air duster, you can't really use them indoors. You can do if you've got like a vacuum as well, and you're kind of vacuuming up the dust as it blows it. But that kind of defeats the object. You might as well just use the vacuum. Air dusters really are more for light cleaning indoors, I think. Like if you've got like the keyboard, I'll give you an example. I'll try not to make the cats go too nuts. So when you're at home, if you've got a bit of dust on the keyboard, so and actually you could see the dust coming out of there, which actually that's quite impressive. See even more come out now.
Do you want my keyboard?
No. If I did Kath's keyboard, it would be like an exorcism. It would start spinning round and puking out loads of ash.
Even Otis didn't move on that.
Didn't mind that, Otis? It's only a
Don't
start.
scare him. It's gonna really hurt. That hurt my ears from over here.
Sorry about the headphones things. God, that's better than Wrigley's Airwaves.
Do it up your nose.
I do it up my nose, yeah.
Don't.
No, don't
That's
put these
stupid.
up your nose because you
I know,
will have
right.
some kind of bad thing going on. Sorry. Anyway, so yeah, for just blasting. Who's
That's yours and stuff.
Who's messaging me? For God's sakes!
It's probably George.
Oh.
Jeepers, my ears are ringing.
Might need to access
Mine
my
were across the
OS on the
room.
old SSD using my other PC to export me. Yeah, don't fire into your orifices. It might be good if you got... I'll have to sample that and write a song with it as a letter. Sorry.
Can you sing with it going in your mouth?
No. I'm gonna try. George? That was cool. It's right. It's me saying my ears are fucking ringing. Ringing, ringing, ringing. No one fell asleep. Mike, don't do that again, says Charles Ballard. Okay. So, anyway,
Put it down now.
I'll step away from that because it can be a bit noisy, but it's pretty cool. Charge it up on USB-C.
Give them a bit of fruit juice and look how soon
Yeah,
it gets.
the battery actually seems to last for a long time because I put it on charge when I got it, and I've used it for about, I don't know, getting on for an hour.
Perfect.
When I was cleaning the PC and I was messing around with my PC and what I've done here as well and
Exactly.
playing around with it. So I was going to start doing a review on it, but I didn't get around to doing it. So anyway, once again, thank you, Colin. Much appreciated. What else have we got here? There's loads of other stuff that we've had over in the last couple of weeks, which I probably haven't shown you all, but I have got here for review. Luckily, it's all starting to get a bit more manageable now. So, got rid of another PC this week. So that was the Ryzen 5 7600 system with the RX 6600, the Gigabyte one, which you probably saw on the last stream that we did, where I took it apart and couldn't get it back together properly. That I took apart, done it all, fixed it up. I should have made a video on it really, but I think I'll just order another one similar, and we'll go through that again because it was quite an easy thing to do. Once I got the pads, which they did arrive, I think. Yeah. Yeah, I thought they were right there. So the oh, so I managed to get this off of Amazon, which I thought was actually a pretty good deal. So this comes in a set, so I've written on the sizes so I know which ones they are. So there's a 0.5mm, there is a 1mm, and there's some spares that I've put on there as well. 1.5mm, 2mm, and a 3mm. So that should cover pretty much any eventuality, and like just for one graphics card,
How did you know what they were to write it on?
Because they were in the box like that, and I knew what I ordered,
Oh, right,
so
okay.
it was the thinnest one on top. Now,
I thought you were going to say I measured them, so why couldn't you measure them when you need them?
yeah, I measured. Actually, that being said, I have got some calipers here, and I would love to know if these actually do measure correctly, because I should do. But anyway, so awkwardly, the Gigabyte card, it appeared that it needed 0.75mm. So I started off using the 0.5mm, and that didn't quite do it. So I eventually went with the 1mm, and kind of 0.25mm is quite easy to kind of soak up. So anyway, that is all done, and it is working. The temperatures were back to normal, very good temperatures, so I was very happy with that. These, I think, the description, if you want to buy them yourself, these are from a company called Putier, P-E-U-T-I-E-R, 5 pieces, 100 by 100mm silicon thermal pads, made in China. So yeah, that was very good. Got that up and running. Nice system that was actually. The Sahara gaming case, I've said it in the video, so those of you that have seen it already, you'll know how I feel about it anyway. But the Sahara gaming case, they've come a long way. I remember when I first started reviewing those cases, pretty much when we started the channel, and don't get me wrong, they're okay. They're built to a price, and they're like 30, 35 quid. They're kind of what you'd expect, cheap and cheerful. But these are actually, come a long way, and they do seem to be much better quality. So yeah, it was good. Huh? Where are they made again? China.
Can you see?
Oh,
A little more.
it's really hurting my lip now. That juice. So what else we got? Good old AliExpress. What? I think what else we had. I think the Thermaltake fans coming in. The SWA fans. We had those before. I'm trying to look around and see what I've got. I did purchase some more AM5 silicone rubbers. They are pretty good. I do like those. I'm sure there's something else as well. There must have been stuff. I am losing my mind. Just looking around, what else have I got on that board? No, nothing there. Nothing there. Oh, I killed a mouse. That was good fun. Where is it?
I thought you were going to see that cat song by Beanies.
So I got here, this is a, well this was a MSI Clutch GM41 mouse, lightweight gaming mouse. And I wanted to change the switches. I thought there was something a little bit weird with this anyway. So I thought I'll take it apart and see what the deal is. And for some reason, I'm rubbish at soldering. Like proper rubbish. I just cannot seem to get to grips with soldering at all. I don't know what it is. I know that some people were like, well, it's just easy. It's just like you heat something up, it melts, you take it apart, you heat something up, it melts, you put it back together. That kind of is the idea, but for me, I don't know. Whether I'm using the wrong materials, the wrong flux or whatever, I don't know. The theory is you put flux on stuff, you heat it up, and it's kind of, it just sticks to each other, but I was not finding that. So I've managed to make a mouse which I thought was potentially having a problem. Basically now the right mouse button doesn't work at all. So that is something I do need to take a look at another point. Yeah, soldering. It's a weird thing. So I think I've actually taken off too much solder, or maybe taken the pad off so that the switches aren't making contact, but they're actually really nice switches that I put in there. Just they don't register. Well, one of them, the left click works, the right click doesn't. So if you know anybody who doesn't like using the right click, let me know, because I've got a mouse for them which they might well like. It's very good. The kittens are growing up fast. They are getting very big. Very big.
That's Candy.
They've been getting out and about in the garden. They're actually about the same size as their mum now.
There's Oats.
There's Otis. Hey Otis. Say hello to the people.
Otis.
Otis is the scaredy cat. He is petrified of everything, apart from Flame. He loves Flame. What else was I going to say? Oh yeah, so the other thing, so I've now put in my capture cards. So they're hardwired now into my PC here and here. So I've got one in there, and I've got one in my main PC, and I've got an HDMI cable running from there all the way through to here to this monitor. So whatever's on this screen, I can now capture straight away onto that computer without having to connect up anything else at all. It literally just works. So that is awesome. So I'll be doing some more BIOS tour videos and some more fan control videos, that sort of stuff. Those seem to be really popular and people do seem to enjoy them, so I will go through and do those. This is Davey. Hey Dave, you alright? Okay buddy? You alright? What's going on? It's you. You're on the telly. You are?
He's just woken up.
He's tired. You having a snooze? There's Dave. He loves...
He loves tech.
He's a nice cat, he is. He is actually a really nice cat.
We came back from the shops the other day, didn't we? And he had got into a case. Was that the Sahara one?
Yeah. There was... I posted on Discord actually. I was doing some work in... I'm trying to think what case it was. It might have been Colin's case actually.
No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't, was it?
Was it the Sahara one? Pretty sure it was.
I think it was the horror gaming case actually, yeah. And Dave found his way into it, didn't you? Little monkey.
Came back from the shops and Candy was on top of it and Dave was inside it.
Yeah, they love a PC case, don't you? Bless his heart. David Noor says, I really need to start doing my how-to solder videos. Most common mistakes people make. Too cold a soldering iron, not using liquid flux, not using PBSN solder. Well, yeah, if you can do any videos, then go for it. Because I need all the help I can get. I've watched loads of videos, but I don't know whether the flux I'm using is just like really poor quality flux. And I've even set the iron to like 400 Celsius, which I think is about the hottest it'll go to. And it just didn't seem to want to burn. It didn't want to melt the solder. No matter what I seemed to do, it didn't want to melt the solder. And then all of a sudden, it would. But it seemed like it wasn't transferring the heat through. So I don't know whether I need flux for that, or I don't know what the flux going on. I really don't know. Anyway. Oh, yeah, I still haven't discussed the scan thing, have I? So, this week, the RTX 4080 Super came back into stock at the NVIDIA store here in the UK. Now, for us in the United Kingdom, if you are trying to buy from the NVIDIA store, your processing is done by a separate company. Now, in the instance of NVIDIA UK, it is currently scan.co.uk. So Scan Computers, they are essentially taking over the packaging, distribution, and the retail of NVIDIA stuff from the NVIDIA store. So I posted on the Discord because I knew there's a few people that wanted a 4080 Super, that they are available. And I thought, right, what the hell? Let's just splurge on something stupid. Why not? It's the tax year's coming up to the end. Let's just do it. It's an investment. And it'll probably be worth more than it is now in the summer anyway, when there's none available at all. So put the order through, got all the way through to the end, credit card number, blah, 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 done it all. And I noticed when I was checking out, it says 1 per customer. Now it says it quite clearly, so there's a thing, it's like a plus and a minus and a quantity. So you go on the site and I did it, set it to 1, notice it said 1 per customer. And I did think to myself at the time, well, I've already bought one of these, but it was for George, and I didn't buy it under my name. I bought it from my PC, but using his card, his email address, his details. So effectively I was just like a proxy for my son, because he couldn't be bothered to do it on his computer. Or he didn't feel confident doing it because it's a lot of money, which is understandable. So I thought, well, that's already gone through, that's in his name. Same postcode, but it's his name. And it says 1 per customer. It doesn't say 1 per household. It says 1 per customer. So I went through the process, got to the end, order declined. After going through the bank thing and all that. So I was like, well, don't know why that would be. So I tried it again, made sure the card details were okay. Still come through. Transaction decline. What the hell's going on here? So I thought, well, okay.
We'll ask Angel to do it.
Asked our daughter to do it. She couldn't do it either. I then thought, well, I'll try a different email address. So I tried a different email address. That wouldn't work either.
Tried it to your work.
I tried doing it to my work's address. So using my details, my credit card, well, technically Kath's credit card, but Kath's credit card, but the delivery details as being my work address. And it still wouldn't do it. So I tried, I think in total, probably about 6 or 7 different variations of different versions. And even other members on the Discord who were kind of on there at the time, offering, saying, look, I'll get one for you. I'll do it for you, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that's really kind, thank you very much. And actually some of the people on Facebook as well also reached out and said, Mike, like, do you want me to get one for you? I'll do it for you. Like, you're a good guy, you've helped me out or whatever, so the least I can do. And I was like, that's very cool, thank you very much, but I don't want to deliberately circumvent this because I think it's a bad practice. And let me know what you think in the comments, because this is a genuine thing. This isn't me just being bitter, even though I am, because I've wasted time and effort, and it just seems tremendously unjust. So there's two kind of key things here. So the first one is NVIDIA. Now obviously you're buying from NVIDIA store, so to some extent it's their rules and regulations. On the flip side, the processing and handling is done by Scan Computers UK, which is a separate entity. So Scan Computers could turn around and say, well, this is the rules and regulations that we've got from NVIDIA. We are merely a processing operation, so we have to take their rules and regulations and apply them to our checkout. Absolutely fine. So if it says 1 per customer, they should, I think personally, have some form of leeway on this. Now, I don't know about you and where you live in the world. I'm guessing a lot of you are around Europe, United States, Australia, UK obviously. I don't think it would be that unusual for there to be numerous people living at a single address. I think that's a pretty common thing. So if you think the average nuclear family as it was, 2.4 children. So 2 adults, 2 children.
But then our children are now adults.
A very typical situation. And of course, in some countries where they have more children, maybe 6 people in a house. Maybe less, maybe 2, maybe 3. I think 1 single person living on their own in a house these days is possibly going to be somewhat of a minority. Maybe 1 person living in 1 flat within a group of buildings. Yeah, of course, it happens. It's very common. But to have a sales restriction coming down to a house or a postcode, I think is a really stupid thing to do. And actually it's very anti-consumer. Because we've all seen the stories of the mining companies and the AI factories who are buying basically pallets of graphics cards. So we know that it's possible. Now they're saying 1 per customer. Clearly, if you're buying a pallet of graphics cards, that's not 1 per customer, that's a pallet per customer. So clearly NVIDIA, however they're planning or playing it, they have 1 rule for me and 1 rule for thee. Now I don't mind playing on a level playing field. I'm very happy to do that. In fact, nothing would give me greater pleasure in my life than for everybody to be on a level playing field. And God knows, almost every political party or every political outlet have all wanted to do the same thing, equality. That's always been the massive thing for years and years, for decades. Equality. Everybody wants to be treated equally. Surely now is a good time to start doing that. And look at this simple thing. Our son lives at home. Not a very uncommon thing in this modern day and age where everything's so freaking expensive. Maybe you've got your kids at home, so maybe you've got 2 kids. Maybe they're both into computers, maybe one of them is. For them to turn around and say that you can only have 1 4080 Super in your entire household, or in that postcode, whether there's 1 of you living there, whether there's 10 of you living in there, whether it's a block of flats and there's 150 people living there. It just seems really, really short-sighted to limit it to a particular postcode, which that is what it appears to do. So if they said on the website,
postcode though, because that's half the road.
yeah, if they turn around and said it's 1 per customer, every person in this house would be a potential customer. Kath might want to buy a PC. I might want to buy a graphics card. George might want to buy a laptop. We are all customers. So if you're saying 1 item per customer, that's absolutely fine. But allow 1 customer to buy 1 thing. It isn't rocket science. They could quite easily look and say, right, that's George at blah, blah, blah email address. He lives there. That's his credit card details. This is Mike, same address, different email, different charge card. Clearly it's another person. It's a different thing. Hell, even if they wanted your national insurance number, they could do that if they could really be bothered to. But ultimately,
Why should you give any more detail then?
exactly, you shouldn't have to go through this bullshit. You really shouldn't. Ultimately, I partially hold Scan Computers responsible for this. Now, that's actually for two reasons.
Being compliant to
The first reason is being compliant with this nonsense. Now, I know NVIDIA is a huge multinational global company, and they hold a lot of the keys. So if you want the business, you have to do what they do. But then, having said that, no one else in the UK does Founders Edition cards. So they could turn around and say, actually, no, we don't want to work like this. And we'll sell MSI cards, or we'll sell asus cards, or we'll sell Gigabyte cards, or we'll sell Vestron cards, Gigabyte cards, the list goes on. But no, they don't. They are greedy, and they want that Founders Edition business because they know it's lucrative. Now, on a separate instance, I know specifically of another individual who wanted to build, I think it was 9 or 10 PCs, all for rendering projects. They were forced to buy more components than they wanted to, because they wanted to buy just graphics cards. They were forced, now these aren't Founders cards as well, by the way. They were forced into buying basically the whole system through scan.co.uk, or they would not be allocated those graphics cards. So on the one hand, over this side, we've got Scan Computers saying, well, our hands are kind of tied here. We've got to do this because this is the way that NVIDIA wants us to play the game. Fine. So what about the other customer who wants to build a bunch of PCs, but maybe only wants maybe a graphics card and a motherboard, but they've got to essentially buy the whole system. Otherwise, you won't allocate the cards to them. So definitely, I think there is some kind of... There's a bit on all sides there, definitely. So, yes, no doubt they have got their hands tied slightly by NVIDIA in some respects. But the other side of it as well, forcing a customer to buy other parts that they don't necessarily want and might not necessarily get as cheap as they could elsewhere. But because they want those graphics cards, they're going to have to do that. That sounds a little bit dodgy to me. Now, I know it goes on in the marketplaces, but if on one hand you're saying, not me, Gov, it's NVIDIA, but then on the other hand, you're saying, well, actually, yeah, if you want that, you've got to buy this. We've got you bent over a barrel. Kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? It definitely makes me wonder. So definitely, if you're watching this, either now live and you're watching this, let me know in the comments. If you're watching this as a replay, let me know. What have your experiences been? Now, I don't want this to be a thing where we're slagging off Scan Computers, because I don't think that is necessary. But I just want to get to the truth, which I don't think is an unreasonable thing to do. And I can only go by my experience and the experience of people that I speak to at the moment. And obviously, you lot that are out there watching this. So if you have purchased things from Scan, let me know what your experience has been like.
So if you went to the shop of Scan, what, do they take all your details so they know that you've bought one already?
Don't know. I don't think you can buy it from Scan directly in the shop. I think you've got to do it through NVIDIA Store. I'm not sure. But anyway, so that's where we're at. I want to get to the truth of this. Now, on the flip side of this, I've actually also been in some sort of communication with the actual owner of Scan Computers. Because obviously I do work for Thermaltake, who also do things through Scan. We kind of get to know each other, and you know of people, and you see their comments, etc. on videos. So I was given a message on my post when I was complaining about it, saying like to NVIDIA and Scan, like, come on, what the fuck is going on? I was angry at the time, and I actually still am a little bit, to be fair, because I don't like anti-consumerism. I think it's a very bad thing, and I know it is a thing, but it shouldn't be a thing. Anyway, so they reached out to me and said, don't worry, Mike, get in touch, we'll figure something out for you. So I messaged back later on saying, thank you very much for like stepping in. Thank you for offering to help. It is appreciated. Sorry I vented at the company. and I tagged him in it. I'm sorry that I did that. I'm just angry. I'm frustrated. I'm wasting time. I'm wasting money trying to buy something, and I'm just being stopped for some arbitrary reason, which is ridiculous. So, like, yeah, don't worry, we'll sort it out. And this is quite late at night on Thursday or Wednesday night, whenever it was. So I messaged back saying thank you, blah, blah, blah. And that is basically it. I've not heard anything else since then. Not a thing. So again, that gives me the impression that they are trying to appear to be customer friendly and customer focused on an online forum or in a public arena. But then as soon as the kind of the messaging's died down, whatever. Now potentially there might be still things going on in the background that they're trying to work on, or they're speaking to NVIDIA. But if you don't tell me that, I've got no reason to believe that is the case. All I've got is basically silence. Stunned silence. So I still have the desire to purchase an RTX 4080 at some point. Whether it be from Scan. The reality is, as it stands at this moment today, and earlier on this afternoon, I was on Amazon.co.uk looking at buying an MSI Gaming X Trio, which actually I think I prefer. But I'm not going to do this angrily, and I'm not going to do it in haste. I'm going to do it with a clear head, a clear conscience, and I think that's the way that we should do things. Being a hot-headed person, which I can be at times, often, Kath just says at times, often leads me to regretting my decisions. So I've deliberately held back, and I've waited until now to really say anything about how I feel. And I still feel I am somewhat disappointed by Scan Computers. Now, I appreciate I am just a single customer and I don't spend a great deal of money. That is fair. But I was offered assistance, and I want to support homegrown British businesses. I would rather give it to a local company, or somewhat local, rather than giving it to Amazon. But as it stands, as things are at the moment, the customer service that I was personally receiving from Amazon is far, far superior from what I've experienced at the moment from Scan. So that is where I am with it at the moment. It is still the weekend, so you never know, we might hear something back from Scan Computers. I did post another post today saying that there are the cards are back in stock. I'm still unable to order one, even though technically I've never bought one before. I just live at the same address that somebody else has. And the person who owns Scan Computers actually kind of put on the post, you know, you got the emojis, they put the angry face on there. So whether they're angry that I've posted it, whether they're angry that I'm still unable to purchase it, I still don't know, because they have not been in contact with me. So that is where I am. I'm left somewhat in the dark. No idea what, if anything's being done in the background. All it would take is, if there is something being done, just a brief note. Mike, we're messaging NVIDIA to see what we can do about this as the whole customer thing. We'll keep you informed. That's all it takes. How long does that take me? It takes me less time to say it than it does to type it, probably. That's all it needs. But still, nothing. So if it comes to the point where I do have to go and spend my money elsewhere, I will do it. I don't necessarily want to do it. I'd quite like to support local companies. But again, I don't want to be left in the dark every time I buy something, because I don't think that's a very good way to run your business, personally. Anyway, I'm going to look through your comments here and see what you lot are saying. And I am not going to cherry pick these comments. I am going to read through them and see what the deal is. David Underhill, I won't go too far back. Nick Barnes says, Mike, it said one per customer, so not standing by their own policy. Second, you need it to be at your address for your account, surely. Yes, that is true. For tax purposes, really your purchases should be registered to yourself and also to your home address. Whereas if someone bought it for me, say for instance someone bought me a graphics card and I then either transferred them the money or I gave them the cash for it, I've then got to write a receipt out, or they've got to write me a receipt to say they've taken the cash for this graphics card, blah, 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 just to make the balance, the books balance when it comes to doing the tax return. So kind of circumventing it, yes, it can be done. And for a normal everyday retail purchase or like a consumer purchase, it's fine. But if you're actually declaring taxes and you're a business, blah, 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 it isn't quite always as simple as, I'll do this for you.
You don't really mind for like a pint of milk, but
Yeah.
for something big, you want a proper receipt, really, don't you? Ouch.
Dutch Jan says, I think it is due to the IP address of the PC.
Angel did it on
Well,
her
yeah, Angel tried doing it on her phone, which is a different IP address, although technically it would have the same external IP address. So that is definitely something I can look into, because I can force my my system to pick up a new IP.
Or you could order it on your
Or I could do it, yeah, I could try it tomorrow when I'm in work on their
just
computer.
To test you mended it right.
Yeah, I'll use his credit card.
It's probably saved in there.
Zero Defect says, should really say one per household, if that's the rules. Yeah, exactly. If they said there's one per household, then when it came to buying the one previously, I would have been thinking, well, actually, I don't really want to put this through because I might want to buy one. But it didn't, it said one per customer. And George is a human being, I'm a human being, we are customers.
You're not, you're both bots.
We're both bots, AI. Viali Winner says, are you using a VPN? I don't know, but maybe that could stop the transaction. I've tried with a VPN or not. Didn't seem to make any real difference, but if I try and do it from a physical different location, that might do it. I'll try it tomorrow. Ugly Bob says, yeah, I'd have a stab at using a VPN. Dave Under says, yeah, what about a bunch of roommates sharing a house? Exactly. It's not exactly unheard of.
But we've got a house down the road, it's got 6 people, is it?
Yeah, there's a multiple occupancy unit, whatever you want to call it, where there are 6 students living. Now, the chances are that 6 students, there's a strong possibility that they might all be graphic designers. One of them is, because he's got a ring light and does streaming and stuff, so
You can see him in the window.
he literally walk past every night and see it. Well, actually, any hour of the day you can walk past and he's in the front room of the house. He's got
Right
his
in the window.
ring light right in the window. He's looking out and there's like multiple monitors surrounding him, ring lights. You can tell he's a streamer because in the background there's a plastic plant hanging down.
Well, it's just the hanging down bit.
Yeah, just like a vine sort of thing. So it's like
Stuck to the shelf.
yeah, stuck on the top of the cupboard. So yeah, he's definitely a streamer. JB Mod says, hello Scan, I would like to place an order for a container worth of RTX4080s, please. Yes. 1 pallet per buyer,
Wood flame.
says Dutch Jan. Dukman says, I would hate having to buy a 4080 Super for 6 children. Yeah, no, it's just ridiculous. It is ridiculous.
Are you hissing at me or Dave?
William Bodie says, was it because of having a VPN on? No, I've tried it with one on and without. It's not really a great VPN, but in theory it should make me look like I'm from somewhere else.
Okay.
Aletta says, one poor customer. All you want is rich customers. Yeah.
That's right.
Ugly Bob says, Nvidia and Scan is asshole.
Flame.
They are, I think. Is it buffering or is it not? I still can't tell if it is or not.
Looks out of mine.
Tech Soul says, is the 4080 Super good value though? Just asking. Well, good value is a... yeah, that's a very interesting and a question that can be answered in multiple ways. It's a multifaceted answer. I don't think it's good value, but in terms of the performance comparative to other similarly bad priced cards, it's kind of in about the right place. I wouldn't say it's a sweet spot as such, but it's fast enough. It's faster than the 4070 Ti Super to warrant the extra money, and it's not fast enough that the 4090 makes a huge amount of sense. So it's kind of in that position where, like, if the 4080 or that kind of level is what you want, or what you're aiming for, the 4070 Ti Super is, if it's at the right price, is worth looking at, but ultimately it's kind of 15-20% cheaper and it's 15 to 20% slower. And with the 4090, that is like in another class of its own, but it's another £400-ish, so £500 maybe. Actually almost closer to £600. So yeah, it's a different kettle of fish altogether. Colin Hilton says they're still on sale at the Nvidia online store. If they're still available tomorrow, I'll have another look. Although, having said that, after looking at George's today in his PC, it's fucking huge. That's a big graphics card. It really is. Although I was extremely impressed with the idle, just on the Windows desktop, some YouTube stuff in the background, various windows open, but nothing really particularly active going on. Discord I think was on, and maybe Spotify, and it was idling about 5 or 6 watts. That's great. That really is great. Ugly Bob says that's way dodgy. Dave Underhill says Nvidia says no, only one. Scalpers stroke crypto miners says 2 pallets, no problem. Dutch Jan says scan Germany. I didn't even think to consider that, to be honest with you. They're, as far as I know, they're only UK, but maybe they do ship to Europe as well. Alexa says all of my GPUs have AMD inside. You wait till you start video editing. The Parody Gamer says, all from what I have bought from Scan has been very good, although I find that Amazon prices are so much better. I think that is a very true thing. For George's computer, we actually decided we bought the Thermaltake cooler, the Thermaltake PSU, and was there something else as well? Was there something else? I think that was it. Those 2 things we bought from Scan, and they were cheaper than elsewhere. But the processor, the RAM, and the motherboard, 100% from Amazon. Just for the sake of if anything goes wrong with any of those things, it's just so much easier to do returns for Amazon. And in fact, actually, this is where my good karma runs out immediately. So you've probably seen before, I did a review a while back for these. This is the Ficquat FN501 Pro. I'm pretty sure it's Ficquat. Yeah, it was Ficquat. I did the review of that. And these are great jobs. So this is another one that I bought recently. I paid, it was £48 minus a discount. I think I got it down to about 38, maybe a bit more. Anyway, so I'm very impressed. So much so I bought another 2. So I've got another 2 up here, which is spares. So I am putting my money where my mouth is. And these are, as you can see, from Amazon. They've got the Amazon labels on the back. So these have been purchased. But these I think were a little bit dearer because the NVMe drives are going up in price. So I thought I'll buy a couple because the prices seem to be going up. So it's always worth keeping a couple in stock. They're not outrageously expensive and they're very handy. So I bought them. They were 48 pounds, I think they were each, somewhere around that. So no, sorry, 38 pounds. And then there was a reduction a couple of days later, which was posted on our Discord, and they had, I think they were 38.99 or 39 pounds minus 20%. So it took it down to like 32 quid or 30, basically around about 30 pounds. So I'm like, well, I've not opened them, so I'll just send these two back and I'll order another two and I'll save myself 20 quid. Like for 20 quid, you would, wouldn't you? For a couple of minutes online, just doing the return and what have you. But I thought, actually, that's terrible really, because packaging, postage, this has got to go on someone's van, they got to collect it, all that CO2, which I honestly don't care about. But Amazon clearly do, because they've got things to reach by the government legislation. So I thought I'll try it. So I contacted Amazon sales and I said, I was completely honest, I said, look, I bought these two drives, I've not opened them, not used them, but they've just posted a big discount on them. They're like 10 quid each cheaper. I was just going to do a return, but to save you guys the CO2 and the environmental impact, maybe you want to just send me an Amazon gift card for the difference and I'll keep them. Save all that messing around. So they're like, well, I'm not too sure, I'll check with my manager. And they're like, can you send us a picture of the page? Like, okay. So I was on my computer at the time, and this Kath and I, we share an Amazon account. So the account is actually in her name. So they wanted me to send the email from her email address. I said, well, look, I'm an account holder on the same account. We have a shared account. They're like, well, no, it's got to be in the name of the owner. So, okay, whatever. So I forwarded the email from myself to Kath, and then from Kath to them. Bizarre. So I sent that through, and they said, oh, sorry, we're going to have to look into this. It'll be a few minutes. Excuse me. So they come back later saying, we're having a few difficulties at our end, but we'll send you a £20 gift voucher to make up for the price discrepancy. So I'm like, oh, that's brilliant, thank you. Because I was rounding up to a tenner anyway. So to give me 20 quid is like more than I can ask for. Excellent response, and that's the sort of thing that you wouldn't get from someone like Scan or Overclockers or whatever it is, because they're just like, well, you bought it. It's like, whatever, mate. So fair play to Amazon for that. So this is where it gets really interesting, because clearly it's either this person's first day or someone was having a bit of a, just having a bad day, I guess. It was one of those built on a Friday jobs. So I checked in the Amazon account and there was a credit for £20. So I said to Kath, oh, they've credited that, £20, awesome stuff. That was well worth like 5 minutes messing around on the internet. Then Kath gets an email through saying, we've refunded you this amount for the card. Thank you for your business. So they then refunded one of the drives at 38 quid. And then shortly after that, there was another £10 gift card voucher that came through. So I bought two drives, which I think cost about £78, £79, maybe 80, if you round up to £80. So I bought two drives, £80. They refunded one in its entirety for £38, and then they refunded this one for £30. So it basically cost me about 8 quid for 2 terabytes of M.2 storage. So I'm kind of in a bit of a quandary now that I do actually feel bad that I've still got the drives and I'm guessing they work and I've only paid 8 quid for them. But at the same time, I'm also a little bit like, well, it's kind of their mistake really. They are essentially spending billions on sending rockets to Mars or wherever. I don't think 30 quid's going to be too much of a problem. But then they were sold by Amazon from the FICWAT store. And I don't really want to do down FICWAT because they're a company like other companies, and
Amazon's probably doing them down.
yeah, Amazon's probably screwing them to the floor anyway. So I don't know. Maybe Amazon will rectify it and they'll make good FICWAT. I don't know. Not too sure. But it's a very unusual thing. So yeah, all the weird stuff that has gone on on the Nvidia side of stuff, which has stressed me out and been quite upsetting. On the flip side, dealing with Amazon, not only has it been like excellent because it's like nice and cheap, delivered, no problems. If you do get a problem, there's a strong possibility that they're just going to give you your money back anyway because they want to be number one. Now, how long that's going to last for, I don't know. But for now, I'm quite pleased with it. Which further signifies the fact that Scanner being like a dick to some extent, whether it's their fault or not, and Amazon are like, have some free stuff.
Somebody on our Discord was saying that Amazon's been much better the last few times than what it's like back to 2 years ago.
Yeah, it did get to a point where Amazon were getting a little bit like arsey about stuff, but they do seem to be getting better. Anyway.
But then is that because a lot of people boycott it?
So yeah, maybe people are boycotting it and things are going good. Mark Berry says, I think Amazon have a sale coming up soon.
Yeah, I think it's...
Yes, on the 15th. There's going to be the 16th, 20th, the 20th.
I can't remember now. I did see it yesterday.
Yeah, we had an email coming through. So there is going to be a
spring sale one.
A spring sale, and also there's going to be big reductions on the returned items. So an additional 20% off of warehouse items. I love Amazon warehouse items. Fantastic for motherboards. Because there's a lot of people out there that just don't know how to use it or build a computer. So they buy something, it's like, no, it doesn't work, right, back in the box, buy something else. And generally they're absolutely fine. So, do it. Last man standing says, Jeff can afford it, Mike, don't feel bad. I'm over it. I'm good. David Angel says, sounds like my new cordless mower. Bought it 2 weeks ago. $120 off RRP. Buggers dropped the price another $100 3 days ago. Grr. Grr. Last man standing says, CCL have gone downhill since Box went tits up. For those outside of the UK, CCL Computers, and Box.co.uk, all part of the same group of companies.
Kev asked, what do you think of CCL?
CCL these days, I would not buy anything from them. The only thing I would be tempted to buy off them would be PC cases. Because at least with the PC case, it's basically like, there's not a lot that can go wrong. As long as it turns up in one piece, you're good. I don't think CCL are going to be around for the long haul. Unless they get some investment, or they turn their sales around, I think it's going to be it's going to be a difficult summer for CCL. I don't think they're doing well financially. They don't appear to have much stock of anything. I used to like buying stuff from CCL. I used to buy a lot of stuff from motherboards. I'd buy a motherboard every couple of weeks from them, especially from their bargain section. They used to have like a grade B, C, D, whatever. I used to buy a motherboard very frequently.
They had packages, didn't they?
Processors as well, yeah. Yeah, yes. Get the package deals. It was good stuff. But yeah, CCL, I've not seen anything on CCL worth buying for a long time. They still do the good deals for the cases. PC case fans as well, always a weird one where they always have good deals on that, but I don't know. That's about all I've seen.
Look at Dave looking at you to drift to sleep.
Colin Hilton says the ThickWatt Pro 1TB NVMe is $48.99 on Amazon. I think that's what it was, yeah, $48.99, and they were offering 10% off or something. Or was, yeah, I think it was like 10% off. The thing is with the ThickWatt drives, they have so many sales and offers. They're like DFS. Now, for anyone outside of the UK, DFS is very well known here in the United Kingdom for basically it always being on sale. And if you're one of the unlucky people who go into DFS on the one day that they're not having a sale,
because they've got a sale starting.
Yeah, it's a very rare thing. There's always a sale on at DFS.
What does DFS mean?
DFS.
Direct furniture sale.
Yeah, yeah, direct furniture supplies. I think it was. something along those lines. Rick H says you got a really good deal, Mike. Thank you. I think I did. Last Man Standing says I'd rather pay a little extra for Amazon customer service.
Okay. Is there something I can help you with?
Yes, you can actually piss off. Piss off very much, thank you. Yeah, I'd rather pay a little bit more for Amazon. To be honest with you, that is why I am seriously considering the MSI RTX4080 Super Gaming X Trio. Also because of, if I do a review video, it's got a lot of tag words in the description. What do I mean, if I do a video? Obviously I'll do a video. Welly Bob says, don't feel bad, you've got even and then some. Oh yeah, and there's been other things recently where I've bought stuff on Amazon and I've then a couple of days later there's been on sale and I've not bothered with it. I've just thought, well, whatever,
yeah,
it's
karma.
karma.
Are you doing it down Amazon or are you doing it down the company that is working with Amazon? And now you've probably got where they can't create their own website and earn enough otherwise.
Gers 1987. How do I find Amazon warehouse items? Well, there's two ways of doing it. One of which is you can go to the Amazon start page. On the left-hand side, yeah, on the computer, on the left-hand side where it's got the department, just click on the down arrow and you can go down to Amazon warehouse. Then you can type in like a generic search like RTX or NVIDIA or B650, whatever it is you want to do. That's one way of doing it. Or I think you can do, if you're doing a search the other way, so if you just type like AMD Ryzen, then in the search results on the left hand side you can choose warehouse items and it will narrow it down from there. But essentially it does the same either way, I think.
Copy, not in there.
Alexa says I buy all my paper towels and toilet paper from Amazon and save a lot of money. What is that cat playing with?
I don't know. I'll have to
Stupidly, I've left loads of my wires from a
you
PC in the other room.
Why didn't you shut the door?
Viali 100 CCL have sold up. They haven't sold up, but the parent company of CCL and box.co.uk, they bought box.co.uk under the impression that the company was worth more than it actually was. So the company was essentially overvalued, and they are then now trying to take the previous owners to court for making the company look as if it was worth more than it was. And because of the amount of money they've lost or are losing, they've actually gone and kind of closed box.co.uk as a going concern, which seems bizarre. I'm sure there's more to the story than that, because if you just bought a company a year ago for, I believe it's somewhere in the region of about 20 million, to write off 20 million in a year seems extravagant, to say the least. But I don't know the full story, but it just seemed like there was something else not quite right about that whole deal. Last Man Standing says, Mike, what's AWDIT like? Never used them. I've used them once or twice. Every now and then there'd be a really nice deal on for like a power supply or something. I think at one point the GameMax Rampage power supplies, which I'm actually quite a fan of, they were selling those, I think they were the cheapest in the UK at about £30 for the 500 watt, which is a pretty good deal. Power supplies were getting really expensive and they were about the only place that had them. I'm sure I bought something else as well, but I cannot think off the top of my head what it was. I think it was a motherboard at one point, which again was on like just a ridiculous offer. So they seem okay. Captain White says it'll be a shame if CCL goes. I visited their place before it got sold. They were a good bunch. Yeah, I was always quite a fan of Novatech. I liked Novatech computers when they were in Portishead. We went down there. I also went to their store when they moved it into Cardiff. Actually, they had a cracking store in Cardiff. Really nice store. Absolute pain in the tits to get to. Absolutely horrendous. If you've ever been to Cardiff before, Yeah, driving in Cardiff is absolutely hideous. I would say the only place slightly worse is London, probably, and then Bristol. Bristol's not very nice, but Cardiff was absolutely awful in the centre. Didn't like it at all, but yeah, it was really hard to get to. And there was this really, really long road that went from where I was all the way out to where Novatech was. I think it's called, what's it? It's like Corporation Road or something. I think it was Corporation Road, and it basically just went for about 3-4 miles, all in a straight line. Basically, like houses each side, so like just a normal road, but a busy one. And it just took so long to get anywhere. Anyway, Captain White says, "Evening, just got back from the cinema. What did you watch?" Dutch Jan says, question, HD Gaming 360, would a 4060 be a good upgrade from a 1660? Looking into, yeah, I think it would be. The 4060 is, I think, one of those cards which is quite good, but because of how close it was to the previous generation and a bit more expensive, it gets a little bit of stick. I think in hindsight now, I would probably buy a 4060 reasonably happily. Although there's not a lot left on the market to buy these days. It's shrinking really quickly. Aletta says, the only company that treated me bad was Newegg. Tried to RMA a motherboard that was DOA. The guy I was on the phone with basically told me next time have a man build my PC. Shit. Oh dear. That's the last thing you want to hear. The Big Marvinsky, thanks for replying to my comment on AM5 videos. I replaced the RAM and everything seems good at the moment. Awesome. I'm glad it helped, and thank you for joining us on our live stream. Appreciate it. Viali100 says, I used to like Ginger 6, but they don't sell components anymore. Now, Ginger 6 computers, I'm pretty sure, if it's the same company, they started off in either the late 90s or early 2000s, and they were actually just on the outskirts of Bristol, heading towards Weston-super-Mare. And I very distinctly remember seeing the adverts for Ginger 6 in our local newspapers. I think it was the Trade It at one point. But also then possibly on Facebook and also eBay as well. I think Ginger 6 has actually turned out to be quite a big brand. But it was just basically a dude selling PCs from his basement type thing. JB Mod says, everyone loves an unintentional bargain. Don't they just? Dukeman says, with us they call it Amazon Outlet. Oh yeah, for the US, I guess, and that is. David says, I buy my cat food from Amazon. My cats eat food from the Amazon. Well, actually, do they have chickens in the Amazon? Maybe.
Don't think they have porks.
Fiatli says, good, I hope they cleared them out. Box had a terrible rep anyway. I bought a couple of things from Box. Not a great deal, to be fair. So I don't have much experience with them. David Anderson says, sounds more like a tax dodge, overspending on investment. Atomic Sub says, are GameMax PSUs not bombs? Some of them are. But it's quite often, like, if you think about how the media works. So if you see a video that someone has a brand of power supply, like, who was it? Tech Yes City with the GameMax power supplies. Now the funny thing is, the GameMax power supply that he had, which was really, really bad, and basically a fire starter, wasn't actually a GameMax PSU. It was some other brand that put a label on there to pretend it was a GameMax power supply. So suddenly all GameMax power supplies get kind of lumped in with that fake. So it's like buying a fake Rolex and that Rolex not lasting a week, and then suddenly the entire Rolex brand getting like slated for not lasting. It's kind of, that's what's happened with the GameMax power supplies and the Gigabyte ones for that reason. Gigabyte power supplies that were reviewed on Gamers Nexus and various other sites. They had a particularly bad batch of the 850s, I think they were, and they were terrible. And now everyone is a little bit like, ooh, Gigabyte power supply. And it's, you do get that kind of lasting thing, but no. Like with any brand, you get ups and downs. But in general, the GameMax power supplies are actually alright. The RGB ones are a bit noisy, but they're gold rated and cheap. The Rampage ones, I actually find to be really good. Quite cost effective, although they are starting to come up in price. But internally, I'm pretty sure they're exactly the same as the entry level Be Quiet ones. They look identical. And it's probably the same OEM doing it for both of them. I've got a sneaking suspicion. I've got to try and think of the brand now. I think it's Channelwell, CWT, Channelwell Technologies. I'm pretty sure that is who is doing it. But I could be wrong, so grain of salt. JB Mod says, I used to work for Novatech building PCs many years back when I was a nipper. I used to really like Novatech. Where were you? Were you down in Southampton? Because if you were probably next door to my old company, which was M Squared Computers. Well, they're on the opposite side of the trading estate.
They were.
Yeah, they were. Gurs1987 says, I've dealt with AWD and CCL about 3 years ago when building my first PC, and they were great. Glad to hear it. Christ, that's a name I haven't heard for a long time. Aria Computers. Where was that? Who said that now? Who, what, where? Buffering? You getting buffering? I don't know what's going on. I really don't.
Should have got yourself a tech channel.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the Party Gamer. I used to buy a lot of stuff from Aria and Eclipse Computers. Both sadly not around anymore. Yeah, Aria, I remember. Eclipse, I don't think I remember those. Eclipse, no, I'm not sure. HD Gaming 360 says, thanks Mike. No worries. Mr. Naga says, hope to build an ITX B550 system, but hate the fact motherboards are so expensive. They are. Motherboards are horrendously expensive at the moment. I think most parts are, to be honest with you. There's not really anything, well, other than M.2 drives, they're relatively inexpensive, and DDR4 is pretty cheap. About the cheapest it's going to be before it starts going back up again as the kind of the stocks get less. JB had an exploding power supply, wind power. Wind power, I've heard of those, yeah. RTX 3060 or 2080 Super, which would you choose if they were the same price? Well, the 2080 Super is going to be the more powerful card by quite a margin, but it's going to be much less efficient. So if the case will put up with the extra wattage and your power supply's got the juice, then I'd probably go with the 2080. In terms of rasterization, 2080 is going to be much better. Ray tracing wise, the 3060 is going to be better for ray tracing, just about, I think. But the 2080 Super, because the 2070 is a closer approximation to the 3060, I think, really. Depends on the game though. If it was a 3060 Ti, I'd probably go with the Ti. Hayden Trent says I got an Aerocool Cylon a while ago now. Mike reviewed, still going strong. Those were really good, the Aerocool Cylons. I used to buy those. I think I must have bought at least 10 of those, if not more. And God is my witness, I have not had one come back in any of the PCs that I've sold with them in. Maybe because the people have got their houses burnt down, but not had them back.
What is it in here now?
23.8 is not dropped at all. Jackson Yendall says, hey Mike, I'm not sure if you remember my Wi-Fi issue. Ended up getting Virgin Media to come and move the router so I could get Ethernet to my PC. I think Ethernet is the better option, to be honest. Wi-Fi is, especially in the UK, is horrendous. Because obviously we've got concrete, brick, steel lintels, all that kind of stuff, which Wi-Fi absolutely hates. And you'll probably find in some houses, actually going back to the Wi-Fi 2.4 gigahertz will give you a much better signal, because 5 gigahertz hasn't got that penetrating power. Whereas if you're in America, where you've got kind of drywall and timber, it passes through that a lot easier. Hugh Luttrell says, for some reason your stream is the only one that hangs on commercials that I have to just reboot your live stream on every commercials. You shouldn't be getting commercials because we've turned them off. Don't know why you're getting commercials. I've not actually done any. And it says here, now would be a good time to insert ads. And I've not pressed that button. This has been a completely ad-free stream. So you shouldn't have been receiving adverts. So I'm not sure what's going on there. I keep on seeing that spinning wheel. There's something not quite right with this setup, and I don't know what it is, and it's driving me insane. Because OBS says it hasn't dropped any frames. So it must be something to do with the outboard stream. I thought we'd had that fixed by swapping over the switches, but maybe it isn't. Anyway, hey ho. Jackson says, got another little issue as well. If you don't mind giving a quick input, yeah, go for it. If I see it, I'll read it. Atomic Sub says, huh, I always get ads, lol. Dave's home as well. How you doing, Dave? Captain White says, video and sound has been perfect for me, Mike. Thank you. You're a satisfied customer. Bialy 100 says, not buffering here. Willie Bob says, stuttering can be caused if big downloads are in progress on another PC. I think that's possibly what it is, because CAF has got, honestly, nearly 200 tabs open in Chrome.
Yeah, but they don't work, do they, unless I'm actually open on them?
I don't know. I have my doubts. It's probably George. I will have to tell him to turn his computer off whilst streaming, or get him to buy his own internet, although Virgin Media might turn around and say, sorry, only one customer per household.
Yeah, I did that. When we moved back to my mum's and we wanted our own phone line and internet,
No, they wouldn't do it, would they?
they wouldn't do it, so my mum had to change her phone number so it could be in our name.
Yeah. Old Man Kev says, so you got the new switches up and running, how are they? To be fair, they've been really good, and it's only tonight where we're getting this buffer in where I've noticed any problems, but other than that, they've been absolutely fantastic, and I would say arguably better than what I've had previously. Now the only thing I think I have done which could be causing these problems is I have changed the DNS on the router, and a couple of times when I've done that I've noticed that it doesn't like the DNS being changed on the router for some reason.
Why do you keep doing things
Well, partly for privacy, and in theory to make it faster, but it doesn't seem to like it, which makes me slightly concerned that the DNS in the router is some Chinese backdoor, which it possibly isn't, but anyway. Buddy Bob says Virgin Media are up in prices by about 8%.
Again.
Again, yeah. Right, so we've got Jackson Yendel. Let's all say hello to Jackson. Hi Jackson, how you doing? We're going to try and fix your problem right now. Jackson says, built a new PC, Ryzen 5 7600X, B650 and 32 gigs of DDR5, fresh install of Windows, but every now and then it'll black screen and restart or have stutters and hitches every second or so, even on the desktop. Okay, have you done the things outlined in our DDR5 installation guide? So, update your BIOS, turn on XMP or Expo on your RAM, turn on memory context restore, and enable memory power down. Do those, and also install the latest chipset drivers from AMD, and hopefully you should be absolutely fine. That should cure it. If you're still getting problems, take out one of the RAM sticks, put it in slot number 2, and run the system with just one stick of RAM. See if it's any better. If you try it with the other stick of RAM, and it's exactly the same, then we're looking somewhere else. But I'm guessing it's a memory related issue, especially if it's doing it on a desktop. My MSI B650 Edge Wi-Fi was absolutely horrendous when I first got it. Terrible BIOS, terrible memory support. It was so unreliable, it was ridiculous. BIOS updates and tweaking those settings for the memory should sort you out. But context restore and enable power down are extremely important, so make sure you do those. And all the other things like keep an eye on your voltages, make sure the 12 volt, 5 volt and 3.3 volt rails are all steady and stable. Make sure your temps are okay, you're not overheating or anything. Those are some of the things to look at. Get out of my desk!
Voltages.
Gosh darn it.
God's sake.
Charles Ballard says, everyone who's not using Brave, use Brave. I had a lot of stuttering on Firefox, which I'd been using for 20 years, and now I get almost no problems. You never know. I might try that. Andy Archer says, Quad 9 have some public DNS available if you want to try them. Well, I think for some reason, I don't know what it is, but my router, in general, whichever I have here, it always likes to use Virgin Media's DNS straight to the modem. I don't know whether that has a problem. I'm going to try that. I will change the DNS back and then see what happens next week. If I change the DNS back and it's better next week, we know it's the DNS. If not, I'm going to set fire to the mesh system. Although generally, to be honest with you, like all week long, it's okay.
And tonight it could be George.
Yeah, it could be George tonight, to be fair. Jackson says, I was scared of doing a BIOS update in case it goes wrong. On pretty much every B650 board these days, they've got USB BIOS flashback. So even if it goes wrong, it's really easy to recover. If you want hand holding through it, join the Discord. And I will put a link in it, so you're more than welcome to. There's a Discord link. To be honest with you, if you're scared of doing a BIOS update, you should avoid the new AM5 platform or any new platform, because there's always going to be a string of BIOS updates which will generally need to be done. So yeah, if you're probably best just getting over the fear, getting on with it. That sounds harsh, but you need to do it. Laxman Stand in UK says, I use Cloudflare DNS. I think I'm using the Google DNS, so 4.4.4.4. I think that's Google. David, he's probably to blame for at least one of those. Arguably. Right, I think that's going to pretty much wrap things up. I've gone on a little bit later than usual, but I did start later, so, and also my throat's starting to go, so I don't want to overdo things. So I think we will wrap things up there. Hopefully next week will be a little bit more organised, and potentially we'll do George's PC cleanup in the stream. See how things go. I might do it in the week and do it as a longer video, but we'll see what happens. But yes, I think that is going to be pretty much it. Thank you, Jackson Yendel, for your £1.99 super chat. That is much appreciated. Says, thanks, Mike. I'll be on the next stream if I can. I think you missed that if. But
get your lights.
Aletta says 1112/1002. No malware. That is one I will try. As soon as I finish the stream, I'm going to try those, Aletta. Maybe we'll try that and see what that's like in next week's stream. So there's your RGB lights, Jackson, for sending in the super chat. Much appreciated. Now I've gone blind, so I've just looked at the bloody thing.
At least you haven't got one glaring right in your face all night.
So, thank you all very much for joining us on this Saturday weird stream, which has been all over the place. I do apologise. But anyway, hopefully you've had some enjoyment out of it. If you have, smash that like button. If you want to see more content like this on a daily basis and you haven't done already, hit that goddamn subscribe button and the chime notification. And that'll be, you'll be notified of future video releases as they come out. But for now, I've been Mike. This is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To. And hopefully we will catch you in the very next video. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next week. And hopefully I will have got rid of the remnants of this darn cold. And also, I'll keep you updated on the scan saga. We'll see how that ends. I can't see it ending any other way than me buying from Amazon. But anyway, I will keep you in the loop. Thanks all of you, and enjoy your St. Patrick's Day tomorrow, those of you that are celebrating it. And best of luck explaining it to your boss on Monday morning. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys. See you later. Cheerio. Say bye, Calf.